Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good wherever you are. I'm your host, That Lit Astro Chick, the channel where we will discuss the natal charts of writers, authors, and people that I find interesting. I know that I've been gone for a couple of weeks from my channel, and I do have at least one loyal subscriber, so hello to you. And the reason why I've been gone is because I've been pretty sick for the past couple weeks. It's not COVID. I got that last summer. However, I have been really sick with a cold, and I didn't want to cough throughout the natal chart readings that I had. And the other reason is because I finally bought some software so that my videos will start to look a little bit more professionally edited, as opposed to me just running my mouth over a tape recorder the way that I was doing it before. I tend to be one of those people where I really do focus a lot on the way that something might look to me, as opposed to just like jumping in there and doing it. I tend to be a bit of a perfectionist. I want things to be perfect. And then for this channel, I just decided I really do just have to like jump in there and actually start putting out the videos. And like if they suck, I can always take them down and redo them. So I did have another natal chart plan for tomorrow, and I wanted to get this natal chart up because, of course, it's a trending topic. I didn't know if I was going to do trending topics, but I think that if I can find an astrological perspective to explain what might be happening with the phenomenon, then this might be really good material to put up, especially if nobody else is covering the exact same topic. And the one that I wanted to speak on today will be the comedian and the actress Monique. So I'm going to be reviewing her natal chart for this video. And the reason I wanted to was because of the viral video that she has going on with Club Shay Shay, so shout out to her, where she's airing her grievances about what's going on with Hollywood, as well as her being blacklisted from the industry. Her story has been consistent for the past 15 years. However, I did have my curiosity piqued when she discussed her son. So Monique has a total of 4 sons, but there are only 3 that she claims, and it's the 3 youngest. She has an eldest son from her first marriage named Shannon, I believe. And depending on the interview that she has, she might claim him. Sometimes she doesn't claim him. However, she does have a very strange relationship with Shalom, and this has been an open secret within the industry for more than the last decade. Shalom, for the first time of my recollection, has finally come out and responded to Monique's claims that they don't talk to each other, and it's because they are very distant and strained. And she has even said before that she has her younger children with her current husband, Sydney. We're going to get to him in a minute when we talk about the chart. But I did want to talk about the back and forth that Shalom had with Monique. So for the timeline, Monique went on to Shannon Sharp's show. She had an interview with him. She briefly discussed her son. Because the interview is now going so viral, Shalom has decided to break his silence and to speak to the public about what's going on with his relationship with his mother. He agreed that his mother was gone most of the time and she provided a good life for him financially, but that was about it. And now she has a more maternal, a more traditional relationship with her younger sons. He has requested in this video, and there are lots of really good videos, and I'll actually hashtag them. I don't know if I can include the links to the comments. I might just put them at like the end of the credits, where they do a breakdown of the commentary. And I think that people made some points. They made some good points. Shalom has requested that Monique just stop talking about him. And then Monique and her husband, Sydney, they responded in another video where they basically gaslit Shalom for talking about this. And this is just going to be my, the first part of this video is just going to be my quick little rant regarding what's going on with the conversation in between Monique and Shalom. And then I'm going to get into her natal chart. So my opinion about this, and I've watched more than enough at this point of really good commentary about it. My opinion about this is the following. When we get older, so, when everybody is an adult, because everybody has a parent of some sort, we no longer see our parents as gods to be worshipped. I think that this is starting to change in our society when it comes to the exchange of ideas, but there used to be this idea that we will see certain entities or beings and worship them as a form of God. So for children, they have to see their mothers as God. And then for women, we have to revere men as God. And of course, there's some tension because now there is some change and some discourse around this type of conversation. Our parents are not our gods. They're not God. Men aren't God, obviously. They're human. And when you're an adult, you realize that your parents are humans just like you. They have good qualities just like you, and they're flawed just like you. And as an adult, even though adults unfortunately have to pay their own bills and have their own jobs and have their own bank accounts, even though they have to do that, what they do get is they are blessed with the power of choice. You get to choose who's going to enter into your life. You get to choose the content you want to consume. You get to choose how you spend your day. You can choose the work that you do. You can choose the people that you want in your life. And yes, that includes your parents. What I do think is interesting about Shalon and Monique's response is that they're both essentially saying the same thing, because Shalon in his response did say that his mother provided for him financially. And then Monique and Sydney in their response said, we provided for you financially. We agree we didn't do much else. But how dare you not accept our offer? And what I will say is that Shalon doesn't have to accept the offer. Now, I'm pretty sure that there's going to be a lot more that we don't necessarily know because it is going to take place behind the scenes. But I will say that at the very least for this specific round, that Monique is the one who brought up her son. She's been bringing this up for more than 10 years. And the admissions that I could see is that, yeah, I wasn't a really good mom, but forgive me and have a maternal relationship on my terms now that I'm a little bit older. And plus, you're going to see me be a lot better and a lot more maternal with my younger children as opposed to you. And what Shalom is saying is, I want to exercise my power of choice to not be involved in this relationship anymore. And in between the lines, I could tell he was most likely saying this because now he has his own daughter and he has to decide how he wants to conduct himself in terms of the life that he wants to set up for his daughter. And if Shalom feels like he was scapegoated, especially compared to the treatment that his younger brothers are receiving, then he may not want to put his daughter in the same line of fire to where she is going to receive the same fate and then perhaps be mistreated and then deal with the effects of being mistreated and deal with the effects of putting his daughter in the line of fire to be mistreated. What I mostly got from this back and forth and from the commentary, some are saying that Monique needs to call Shalom. Some are saying that Monique needs to leave Shalom alone. I am of the opinion of this. If Monique sees Shalom as being unclaimed in some way, so she doesn't claim him in all of her interviews, she might claim him in some, but then she'll say that they're estranged and that they should talk. I think then that you just have to let that go. Like, if he's going to be unclaimed, then let him be unclaimed and stop talking about him. That's the only thing that he requested. And there were some people who said that Shalom sounds like he's hurt. And I would say I did not get that Shalom sounded hurt. It sounds like he has been hurt. And what he is trying to do is close up that wound so that he can move on, because he has other things that he wants to live for, such as his daughter. And I think that Shalom has every single right to that, especially because Monique is the one who keeps on bringing him up. So that's my general opinion about what's going on with Monique and with Shalom. And I didn't want to make that part of the commentary too long. I also didn't want to get too personal as far as with my own experiences because this is still a new channel. I'm not trying to put myself on blast. And I did want to do a synastry reading between Monique and her eldest son. However, her eldest son is very clever in that he has managed to keep his birthday off Al Gore's internet. So I'm going to pull up Monique's chart. And the next segment, because I'm just going to hit pause very quickly, is going to be about Monique's chart to see what's going on with her, why is she going on this continuous tour, as well as what could she do moving forward from an astrological perspective. Okay, I said that I was going to get this done before I start my study. So let's go on and discuss Monique's birth chart. So the comedian Monique was born on December 11th, 1967 at Glen Burnie Heights in Maryland and the United States. We don't have the time, so I just went ahead and I used a placeholder. So this makes Monique a Sagittarius sun at the 18th degree. The 18th degree is a very critical degree in astrology because this is going to refer to a split in between the desire for self-expression, represented by the number 1, as well as for the desire of material gain, which is represented by the number 8. You add those two together, you get 9. 9 is represented by Mars in the Chandelian calendar. So this could make Monique someone who is very much focused on her material gain, as well as very much focused on her career, as well as her fame. And I have grown up with Monique. I really did love her closing set on the Queens of Comedy. I also really did love her performance in the movie Precious, which she won the Oscar for, as well as various comedic sets that she has been a part of. I really do love how talented she is. And she's also somebody who is very wise, and that's represented by the fact that she is a Sagittarius sun. Now, typically speaking, when I like to discuss natal charts with clients, I will officially start out with the story about the nodes, because the nodes will help answer the question where we have been. And the north is going to answer the question where we will go. Because typically speaking, in most of the charts that I have seen, most people will have a square that's going on in between at least one of their nodes, where it will be obvious to them that they are going to be forced or pressurized in order to change and to transform into fulfilling that north node destiny. The interesting part about Monique's chart is that none of her personal planets are actually squaring her north or her south nodes. So Monique in this lifetime is a north node with her north node in the 25th degree of Aries. And that means that Libra is going to be on her south node. Now, she does have a very good start, and she's very hopeful with her chart because her sun and her moon do trine, because she does also have that Aries moon, which is conjunct to her north node. But what's interesting about Monique's chart is that the majority of her chart is comprised of quincunxes in terms of the aspects that are occurring within the chart. And the thing with the quincunx is that they refer to adjustments that we have to make, because they're going to refer to places that we don't see or things that we don't see because they're going to be so far away. So an example of a quincunx would be her Jupiter, which is at the 5th degree of Virgo. That's a double dose of the Mercurian energy. And in addition to that, she has her Saturn at the 5th degree of Aries. So this could represent a desire to rely solely on her talents, because Monique is a very talented artist. She's a very talented comedian, a very talented and gifted actress, but she might be a little bit less likely to focus more on the perseverance and the hard work that she might need to work on to obtain this destiny as well as this success, because she might be relying exclusively on her luck. And she also probably did get a lucky break, or where she got luckier in her career compared to comedians of that are her counterparts. And it's because she does have the astrological aspect of Jupiter running in parallel to her Pluto, and both of those are in Virgo. So typically speaking, when you have Jupiter and Pluto, when they're in positive aspects to each other, this could be an aspect that could relate to a celebrity status, because it's going to refer to a lot of people knowing who she is. And in addition to that, she also does have Jupiter running parallel to Uranus, which is also in Virgo at the 28th degree. The 28th degree in astrology is also going to represent leadership as well as an opportunity to earn a lot of money. So Monique also could have been somebody who did receive a lot of lucky breaks, especially at the beginning of her career. And she does have a strong reputation in terms of her work ethic as well as her craft, as represented because she does have her sun that is in trining to her Saturn, which is at the 5th degree of Aries. Now, Saturn is also running parallel to the moon, which is also at the 5th degree of Aries, in addition to that north node, which is running parallel to Saturn as well. So this would make Monique somebody who's going to be very self-serving, someone who is going to really focus on her needs and her desires, which is her birthright and her destiny in this particular lifetime. Individuals that have Libra on the South Node are people that come from many lifetimes where they have had to focus a lot on catering to the needs of others as well as for the collective in the group. And they may have lost a sense of identity because they have been more focused on managing people from a more strategic or a more passive-aggressive background. And in this particular lifetime, what Monique is supposed to do is to learn how to be more reliant on herself. An Aries North Node, a career that would perfectly embody an Aries North Node would be something that is going to be very creative, very visionary, as well as from a more directorial and a conflict producing, or I should say, having a more head-on, a more direct approach to conflict when it comes to this particular lifetime. So she does have some planets that are working in her favor. However, she does have those quincunxes, which are going to refer to adjustments that she's going to have to make. Another quincunx that she has in her chart is that she does have her Mars in quincunx to her Jupiter. And her Mars is at the 7th degree of Aquarius, in addition to having that Jupiter in Virgo. So this could mean that when it comes to her thought process, it might be a little bit too sudden, and this could cause a hit to her reputation, especially when it comes to whether or not people may feel comfortable working with her. In addition to that, let me go ahead and look for one more quincunx. The other one is going to be that she has her Neptune is in quincunx to her North Node, and her Neptune is at the 24th degree of Scorpio. Now, I don't know, I might do a natal chart reading on Cat Williams, but I'm more inclined to believe that Monique is telling the truth when it comes to her discussions about being blacklisted from Hollywood. But because, excuse me, I have to cough. I don't want to cough in your ear. Because she does have that Neptune in quincunx to her North Node, that means then that she's going to have to make some adjustments, and instead of focusing more on power and on domination and on speaking truth to power, which I do think is something that is very important to her because she does have her Sun conjunct Mercury in Sagittarius. In order for her to achieve this North Node status, she's going to have to rely less on research and more on action, more on doing, because Aries in the North Node is very much about embracing the physical body and embracing the physical manifestation of your actions. And I think that because she doesn't quite have as many squares in her chart, this might make it a little bit more difficult for her to foresee that. And I say that because she's been very vocal about being blacklisted from Hollywood. And my personal opinion on that is, does she get to blow the whistle? She absolutely does. However, when it comes to what she's going to do next, and that's the part that I really am waiting on for her, because let's say, for example, if you want to act as a whistleblower, you have every single right to do that. However, the risk that you're taking as a whistleblower is the fact that a lot of people are not going to really want to work with you because they might be afraid that eventually you will put them on blast too. And I haven't quite heard what's going to be done afterwards. And I think that for that reason, that could be where she might be having a little bit of trouble. Now, I do want to talk a little bit more about the conjunctions that she has that are going in her favor. Now, as I said before, her sun is conjunct her Mercury in Sagittarius, and that's also conjunct to her midheaven, which is at the 19th degree of Sagittarius. So this would be another aspect of fame for her in her chart. It also means that she is very well known for speaking out and using her voice. And I would say that you definitely see this when it comes to her comedy, because she is very witty, very raunchy. She's very entertaining to watch as a comedian, very entertaining as an actress. And in addition to that, she is somebody who would be known for her personality and her ego, because our sun represents our ego, our fathers, our claim to fame, as well as our children. Now, I really wanted to do a synastry reading on her and her son, and unfortunately I don't have his information because he was very smart. But I do want to take the opportunity to talk about where do I think these positions, or his position that he could have astrologically, might come from when looking at her chart. Now, she does have a couple of squares that I do think are very fascinating. The first one that I notice is that she has her Chiron in Pisces. Chiron I refer to as being the who hurt you asteroid. And Chiron in Pisces is going to refer to the spirit of betrayal. It's the spirit of abandonment. It's also the spirit of a lack of boundaries. And that is squaring her sun, and that's squaring her sun in Sag. Now, typically speaking, people who have a negative aspect to Chiron, to one of their personal planets, especially their sun sign, will have a difficulty with integrating with the rest of society in a way that's going to be appealing for them. And I think that we're noticing this because there are so many polarizing opinions when it comes to her expressing her grievances in terms of her experience in Hollywood. And I'd also say because of this aspect, because she does have this sun square Chiron, that it may not work out for her in that way. And I hope that this does provide her with the aspect of being able to focus more on developing her craft and stepping more into that Aries North node. Another square that she has that I do think probably could speak to potential problems that she may have with children is that her sun squares her Pluto, which is at that 22nd degree of Virgo. The 22nd degree speaks to the control or be controlled element. So that's to focus on either how other people feel or how you feel. And in that situation, you are more likely to take how you feel, because if you take how they feel into consideration, it might produce rather disastrous results. Now, because she does have this sun square Pluto, this is going to represent having a very eclectic relationship, I'm going to say, when it comes to men and when it comes to children. And the reason I say that it's going to be very eclectic is because this could represent issues that she may have had with her own father. I don't know much about her relationship with her own father, but I know that she has had at least 3 marriages. Her current husband, Sydney, is her 3rd marriage. And she also does have at least one son, I think his name is Shalom, who she unfortunately is estranged from. So the issues with men could very much be represented when it comes to that sun square Pluto. However, she could also have a marriage that will last for a very long time because she also has her sun trining with her Saturn in Aries. And I think that this is a position that's very much spoken about when it comes to her husband, Sydney, because they have been together for a very long time. In addition to that, another aspect for the relationships that she might have with men could also potentially be the fact that she has her Venus at the 4th degree of Scorpio. Once again, that number 4. So that's going to represent a lot of accidents, a lot of sudden things that might happen in her life because that 4th degree is represented by Uranus. And Venus is at its detriment when it's in Scorpio because it can represent somebody who might be very passionate. However, it does also represent someone who is going to have a very polarizing effect when it comes to people. People might be very open with expressing their their dislike or their distrust of somebody when they do have their Venus in Scorpio. And in addition to that, it squares her Mars, which is in Aquarius. And this could represent some of the marriages that she may have had in the past. Like maybe she could have felt very passionate about her partners at the very beginning, and then towards the end it got kind of difficult because there was some sort of an unconventional element that was introduced into it. I would say that we could definitely see this when it comes to her husband, Sydney, right now, because they have publicly discussed having an open relationship and in the past, and now she says that that relationship has been closed. Now, because she does have her sun sextiling her Mars, this would mean that she would be open to this type of a relationship dynamic. And I also wouldn't be surprised if she has never been in a monogamous relationship. This to me points to someone who most likely stays friends with their previous partners. I do believe that she was friends with Sydney for a very long time before they got married. This also could represent someone who might have unusual intimate proclivities, because I know that she's talked about this in the past when it comes to her her comedic routines. Another square that I see that could be very big for her would be the fact that her sun squares her Uranus in Virgo. So this could make her someone who's going to be a very quirky person, perhaps somebody who is very much dead set on getting things their way. So it's their way or it's their way, and otherwise she is not interested in what anybody else has to say in regards to that. In addition to that, she also has her Jupiter in opposition to her Chiron. So she could be somebody where potentially there has been a lot of questions in terms of the things that she has said throughout her life. She has, reiterated that she hasn't done anything wrong, and I am more inclined to believe her. And I say that because while she does have her Mercury in Sagittarius, and it is in its detriment in that form, she also has her Neptune, looks like it is sextiling or septiling her sun. So to me, this would speak to someone who most likely is telling the truth regarding when it comes to the things that they have gone through. Now, the yod is the most common pattern that she does have within her chart. And I think that this speaks to the fact that she is constantly talking about her experiences with being blackballed in Hollywood. And I don't want to go over these for too long, so I'm just going to talk about one. And then we're going to move on and discuss her asteroids. She does have one particular yod that I'll discuss, which is that she has her Jupiter in Virgo, and that is breaking up her Mars as well as her Saturn. So the Jupiter is the planet that is coming in the middle of this. I think that this speaks to all of the radio tours that she's done about exposing what's going on in Hollywood. And I do support her because I do believe that airing out your grievances is going to be a part of what's going to be in her healing journey. Now, I just really do want her to move on to the next stage of that. And I'm going to go briefly back over the discussion that that's been going on in between her and Shalom. And what I found within a lot of the commentary that I saw is that there is this there's this missing piece where I think that a lot of what she is discussing, it has to do with the sins of the father. That's also one of my theories, is that because she is with Sydney and she has 3 children with him, she may not feel as attached to mothering the child that she has with her second husband. I believe that is Shalom's father. And I am going to talk a little bit more about that South Node because that is in Libra. And I think that she's still very much carrying on that energy signature when it comes to, hang on. Oh my God. Okay. When it comes to that energy signature of Libra, because Libra in its higher octaves is about making things look very good. And I've always seen Libra as being the sign that is very much attached to litters. I just think Libras, they're entitled to litters. They're entitled to litters of kids. They're entitled to litters of wives and of spouses. And if you look through Monique's life, she definitely has that, though, because she has been going through life always being attached to a partner. And I think that unfortunately the partner that she is attached to is going to be a part of her downfall, because I haven't quite seen the advancement in her career since Sydney has been her manager, code word unemployed. So I really do see him in a lot of ways as standing in her destiny. And perhaps she can't see this because she does have her, wait, is it her Lilith in Sag? Oh, I take that back. Her Lilith is in it's in Taurus. So it's kind of close to her moon. But I would say that what's going on with her Lilith is that she may have this resistance when it comes to hard work that she may have to take on. And I think that is unfortunately represented when she has talked about how she only will audition for roles that are written strictly for her. I do believe that that's a right that she gets to have, but I also believe that if it's a right that she wants to keep, then she needs to also have her own production company. And to go back into discussing why I don't think that this marriage is really the best for her. Another reason that I take that back. Her Lilith is not in Taurus. I read that wrong. Her Lilith is, her part of fortune is in Taurus. So that means that her hard work is going to be how she is going to achieve this success and this status within her life. Her Lilith is actually in conjunction with her sun sign. So she might be somebody who is really, really focused on speaking truth to power. However, I also would say that I'm not necessarily sure if this is going to be within her best interest. Because this could also represent maybe an inability for her to understand versatility when it comes to other arguments, as well as the ability to really like focus in on other people. Now, in addition to that, she does have her Ceres, and this is the asteroid that represents the ways in which we might come across to each other. That is conjunct to her Sappho as well as to her South Node. So that South Node energy that she has, that desire for partnership, going through multiple husbands, having so many children, trying to keep a family together, all of that is in fact getting in the way in terms of how she is going to be able to achieve this North Node status. A lot of her life, a lot of her past life energy signatures are very heavy within Monique's chart. And this could be one of the reasons as to why maybe she's having a hard time in terms of achieving the that part of fortune that she does have. And okay, maybe I do need to get better at this. Her Lilith, in fact, is in Taurus, but her part of fortune is also in Taurus as well. Her asteroid, Lilith, that is conjunct to her sun sign. I hope that wasn't too confusing. Like I said, I do need to get a lot better at these. So I would say because she does have those going on, and Juno does represent it does represent the ways in which we will thematically play out our relationships throughout our lives. The fact that it's conjunct to her South Node does say that energy is in fact incredibly strong throughout her life. In addition to that, she has her Eros, and that is the asteroid that deals with our preferences in terms of our sex lives. That is in, let's see, it's in opposition to the vertex. So her Eros is also conjunct to her Pluto. So this would make her somebody to where her relationships with other people, specifically when it comes to men, is going to be really important. And because she does have that Sun square Pluto, that means that she does have a lot of issues that unfortunately started with the daddy first. I think that in this particular lifetime, she was somebody who was really supposed to learn how to separate herself from her desires to be with other people. And that did start off first with her father, and now that is playing out with her children as well as with the husband that she currently has. My personal opinion is I don't care too much for him. I really do think that Monique should be someone who is going to be more invested into herself. And I forgot about this. She does have her asteroid Bacchus, and Bacchus refers to things that we might do that are going to just be too much and just too extra. She does have her Bacchus conjunct to her Mars. So yes, her love life, it is busy. It is eclectic. There are a lot of people within her life. I really, really do hope that she is able to get to the people who are going to be able to help her a lot, because that's actually something that I really do want for Monique. I really do want her to be able to shine. And I will add one more asteroid because this is getting hella long. She does have her asteroid Icarus. That is conjunct to her, what is it conjunct to? It's conjunct to something. I'm actually just going to leave it because this is getting too long. But either way, I do have another video that's going to come out probably, if not tomorrow, then by Friday. And it's going to be one that I'm like super duper excited about. But this concludes my my commentary as well as my natal chart reading on the comedian Monique. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and watch out for the next video.